What's up, guys? Welcome to the Comedy Pop-Up Podcast. I'm your host, Sean Grant. And as always, I got my man Paul over there on the engineering tip.
What's up?
What up, Paulie? But, man, we got some dope guests today, man. I can't wait to get the show started. Usually I write a whole bunch of, questions and stuff, but these dudes, man, they're so introspective, man. I don't even need all these questions. I got a few just in case, but these dudes are amazing. I love talking to them. They're both personal friends. This guy right here is originally from PG County, Maryland. He's a paid regular at the Comedy Store, and he was selected for this year's Big Sky Festival. Big round of applause for my man Brian Simpson.
Yeah, me.
Yeah. And his other brother is originally from Tampa, Florida. He's featured on Heart of the City, and he will also be in the Big Sky Festival later this year. My man Keith Johnson. Yeah. All right. What's up, fellas? How y'all doing?
What's happening?
Chilling, man.
Man, all right. I know we was talking before. I wanted to catch most of this in our interview today, man. Because y'all will just go off and give away nuggets for free. But let me start with both of y'all kind of developed in the San Diego comedy scene. Is that right? Because I know you're from different places, but would you give that scene most of the credit for where you guys are at skill-wise?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
absolutely.
the credit.
Yeah.
All the credit. Okay.
Yeah, I started there.
What would you say it is about San Diego that strengthened your skills as stand-up? Maybe I'll start with you, Brian.
Well, I don't know if it's anything about the place specifically, but
Or
I
the
think it was
people,
just
the
the
scene.
time. The time and the people that were doing it when I started.
Right. the other
So
comics.
it was like there were good comics there.
Yeah.
So the measuring stick for what was good
Right.
was high, and then a new comedy club had just opened up. So
Yeah.
I got a lot of stage time that I think I wouldn't have gotten if I was new in some other scene. You know?
Right.
That's all it really was.
Absolutely. And y'all at the same time, kind of
Yeah. I think we took two different routes. Brian stayed and honed in and became the guy in San Diego and kind of transitioned up. I left a little, I'd say prematurely, but just early. And then
But you had a night, right? Didn't you? You were running shows and stuff in San Diego a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I was running shows. I was a door guy at the La Jolla Comedy Store.
Yeah.
But I did leave prematurely. I was a year and a half in and then just jumped into L.A. and had to start over. And so,
Yeah, I left late.
Yeah.
I stayed there for 5 years.
5 years.
And so it's definitely, it's cool to see, the different paths. Everything evens out in the long run. But it definitely, there were different paths that we took for sure.
But a lot of comics from that time are doing their thing up here. I mean, Derek Poston, Hassan Ahmad.
Yeah.
Damn.
Is Ron Taylor kind of from that?
He's
from Detroit,
He's from
but-
Detroit, and he definitely got funny in Detroit. But him and Trey Stewart,
Would always go through
Just
San
they
Diego.
Go
came
down,
down there. They would
yeah.
come down there, and
Right.
this was a dojo. It was the dojo
Yeah.
for a little bit.
San Diego has a lot of open opportunities to develop quick
Yeah.
and fast. So when you need funny shit to be ironed out,
Right.
San Diego's the spot for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, that was a point, man. I could go up like 14, 15 times in a week.
Yeah.
Because there was a mic every night at the Madhouse. That's 7.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there was a mic at one night at each of the other clubs. That's 10.
That's crazy.
Then
yeah.
all the little bar shows and little bar mics. It was like if you really, had a nice little bus pass on you.
Right.
You get it in.
you get it in.
Yeah, man. I like that, man. So what was your first? Now, I want to, because both of y'all got into the Big Sky Festival this year. I think that's an amazing accomplishment. But to date, what would you say was the accomplishment in your stand-up career that was the biggest from where you were? Does that make sense? It could have just been your first successful joke. You know what I'm saying? That made you go, that was the biggest leap for me as accomplishment-wise. Because from now to getting Big Sky, you might be like, man, I should have got that 5 years. I don't know what your mindset is around that. But you get what I'm saying?
Right.
What's your biggest accomplishment for you? I'll start with whoever wants to take it. Yeah.
If you got it.
I'm gonna say getting past at the store.
Get past at the store. That was like a big jump in your mentality. Oh, shit.
No, I mean not really my mentality. I mean that's the biggest
Got
whatever.
you. Yeah.
But I think the biggest jump in my mentality was just moving. Just
okay.
Because it's so easy to be the king of the hill.
Right.
Because you're scared to climb the mountain. You know what I mean?
Right, absolutely.
So it's like, I'd rather stay at the top of the hill. It's comfortable than to go to the bottom of the mountain. And that's.
Absolutely.
And I remember Amir K. You know Amir K?
Yeah, absolutely.
And one time he came down, and we were all you know how sometimes it turned into a little hang after the store or the mic or whatever. And
Right.
we were all like hanging in the parking lot, and he walked up to me like in front of everybody, and he was like, "I've been told your ass to move. Like, what the fuck you doing?" Like he really made me feel like you need to get the
Yeah.
fuck out of here. Like, what are you
Right.
doing?
Yeah, yeah.
And
yeah.
and it really like sparked because I didn't have a plan. I was waiting like, oh, I'm gonna save money, and I was like, no, I ain't
Right.
saving no money. I done set up my life so I can't save money because
Yeah.
I had a job where I had quit the Madhouse and I was working the door at a bar,
Right.
and it was like and they hooked me up where I could just do as much comedy as I needed to. And I made just enough money to pay my bills,
Right,
barely.
right.
I wasn't gonna save no damn money, you know.
Yeah.
And it was like I just need to go, and I just moved.
Absolutely.
You know?
Okay. Yeah, yeah. And
and
I remember how those dudes looked at you too. Like they were very much like you were, just a big brother to a lot of the comics. I don't know. Maybe you didn't notice that, but like a lot of them talked about you with reverence.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know if did you get a feel for that before you left? Like, oh,
Yeah, a little
dudes
bit.
kind of admire me. Or,
I took it very serious
yeah.
in terms of like because I know people, people want. Sometimes people will emulate you,
Yeah.
and so you want to set. I just was like was very aware of like sometimes
Yeah.
you don't realize what you're saying to people is powerful to them. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
They
Yeah.
even remember shit you just said just to stop talking to them.
Have you ever gave a comic advice and then you see him a few years later and they're like, remember that thing you said to me? I'm like, nah,
Yeah,
that sound like something I would say.
Yeah.
But I don't remember that. But it's like you got to be
Yeah.
cognizant of that because you might say something to a new comic
Yeah.
and it fucks them up.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
anyway, yeah, but I didn't like abuse it or nothing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But I was aware. Yeah.
You played your cards very correctly. Like just your moves were correct. They're smooth. You transition.
It just seemed like that, but my shit was just random as fuck.
That's how it seems, man. But I mean, like to the objective viewer, it's like, oh wow, that dude's got it together. Now I got really excited because I've known you since Tallahassee. I didn't really see you do stand up in Tallahassee, but when I saw you on Comedy Central's, I think their Instagram page, I think they have a special one for stand up or something like CC stand up.
Yeah.
Right, and you were doing like a featured thing for like some of the digital content, and it was just like, oh my god, like he didn't say nothing about it. At least I didn't see it on your page. I just saw it there. I got excited. What was that your like biggest accomplishment you feel like to date, or what was it? Or biggest jump?
I think my biggest jump was I went to London for a month.
Yeah.
And I just stayed there. I got an Airbnb and just like my goal was to iron out the material that I eventually did for Heart of the City, but iron it out in a completely different place without knowing anybody and just to see how good I really was. So it was a part of me like testing myself like just as an individual, but like taking that leap to be like, fuck it, I'm going to another country.
Right.
And then just to see how well I translated. And I mean, I remember I was talking to Connor, my homie Connor, Big Nut, and so we went to Austin, and I was like, I didn't know you could go to other cities and do comedy. And he's like, yeah, you just gotta ask. So that kind of opened it up, and I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go big. I'm gonna go to London. So that was the biggest like mental like breakthrough I had.
Absolutely.
And eventually that turned into what Heart of the City was. And then, from there, but it was just me playing, alchemy with another's, country, essentially.
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah. All right. Well, look, man, I'm looking forward to both of y'all doing. So for everybody who doesn't maybe know what Big Sky is, you know what it is, right, Paulie? Big Sky. Yeah. It's a big, like, I would say it's a huge festival. I think all the comics they get together, they do games. I've never done that one. But I feel like there's like some type of fellowship stuff before the shows, like shooting or hunting or something like that. But then there's a competition aspect to it where I think it's 5-minute sets or 2 different nights where I don't know how they divvy up the sets, but before you guys got to this fest, I mean, I would say it's one of the biggest in the world and has made a lot of people's careers, flourish after they did it. How many, just to give people, a lot of these people are like comedians or aspiring comedians or just comedy fans. How many festivals have you done up to this point or been rejected from? Just to kind of give them like a scope. It's not like y'all just, this is a big deal, but it's not like y'all just got this just off of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's maybe the journey through festivals for you guys?
I've been rejected. This is the first one I've gotten in.
Oh, word.
I've been rejected
That's insane.
probably 30 times.
Now, would you say it was because of the type, the tape, like how it looked, the quality of the tape?
No,
or?
not at all. As a matter of fact, and this is just me being me, like rolling the dice, just to know. Matter of fact, this is the third time I applied to Big Sky, and I sent the same tape that I sent the first 2 times I got rejected, just to see.
Wow.
Because here's the deal. I got rejected the first 2 times, and that was after I got vouched for.
Right.
You know, and then I went there on the off season. I went there in the wintertime with Mitch Burrow.
Oh yeah.
To do a veteran thing.
Yeah.
Right, and it was run by the same people that run the festival.
Absolutely.
And they see me like headline, you know, because me and him switched off headlining, blah blah blah. And then they were like, "Yo, you should apply for the festival." I'm like, "Nigga, I've been applying to your festival."
Yeah.
You know.
But then now I mean that's what it takes, man.
Yeah, but that's when I learned, because it wasn't just Big Sky, but like I didn't get Just for Laughs. I didn't get, you know, it's like all of these things, and then I realized that, you know, how good you are at comedy, how good you are at stand-up is not the only factor.
Right.
Like most of these gatekeepers don't know what the fuck they're doing. They you know, some of them have good taste, whatever, but they all have different motivations. They got different reasons for picking you or not picking you, and a lot of it don't have shit to do with whether you bombed or what you was wearing or none of that. Sometimes it's like just how you look, or just your story, or just that they got another motherfucker that's like you already. You know, so it's like you can't measure yourself by whether you get into those things or not. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Everybody we all got our own path.
Yeah.
You know, your skill is gold.
Absolutely.
Everything else is credit.
Yeah.
You know, you can get shit with credit. You know what I mean?
Up.
But when the shit crash,
right,
only the people that got goals in the floor, those are the people that survive. So it's like I'm
saying this the type of stuff I want y'all to give up before we put the damn, you know what I'm saying, started recording, man. So I appreciate you saving that one, man. Gold versus credit, man. So this dude don't play no game.
Right.
So how many have you like
I think I applied to Big Sky 3 times too.
3 times before.
And I didn't get in. I've gotten into other festivals. I gotten into Laughing Skull,
nice.
San Francisco Comedy Festival, and then a couple other ones. I'm not thinking of. DC Comedy Festival. But this was one of those, like, I remember seeing Byron Bowers. He won it like maybe 10 years ago. But I wanted to do it.
It's been around that long?
Right. It's been a minute.
Wow. I didn't realize Big Sky was. So it must have been around before then. Is it 10 years old? Or?
I may be over exaggerating with 10, but
okay,
I remember when
it's been at least 6.
Yeah,
well, I've known who Byron was for a while. So
right. So this was before Byron was. I just remember seeing Byron because I remember watching him come down to San Diego.
Wow.
And just hone his skills and being like, all right, like this is what an LA comic is.
Right,
and he come and he'd bomb, like just work shit out, like not. Like almost intentionally bomb, and then I saw him in LA, and I was like, "Oh, this is a different guy. He was working out here to get good in LA." And so when he won I just kind of asked him for advice, and this was one I've been trying to get in. But in my opinion, like Brian, I've had my other tapes were better than the one that I applied with, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
But this just opened up the door for whatever reason. And
I don't mean to try to make y'all do
No. It is a game.
I could have totally fucked myself with that.
I didn't want that at all.
Sometimes like doors open up just randomly, and you're like, wait. When it opens up, it's almost like a joke where you're like, why did it open now and not before?
Right.
So
it's the perfect time, man.
Right.
So just to make sure, I know Taquita Love is in there, Garrick Bernard,
Morgan J.
Morgan, that's the guy with the music, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. My favorite
He's been on the show.
Yeah.
Morgan J has been on the show.
Him.
Yeah, I interviewed. Yeah, he was right there. Okay, yeah. What's up, Morgan? I'm
Cat out.
about to talk shit. That's just me and musical comedy. But when they're not in front of me, then I'm different.
Right.
But all right. So wait. So if you guys weren't in it, this might be an asshole question. Who you picking? Who you picking out of that? Was it 5? Is it 5 minutes?
Honestly,
straight up.
I think it's a different format this year, right?
Oh, I don't know. Okay.
Because from what I saw, there's there's
Two
two
teams.
teams. Was it always like
What?
that?
Yeah, it's always been like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's 2 teams, and
Yeah.
basically, so I went last year. So,
Oh, hell yeah.
So pretty much what happens is there's the 2 teams, and there's showcases for both teams, and they kind of get it down to the top 8. So once they get it down to the top 8, then whoever's team you're on kind of brings you up. But it could be unbalanced. I think last time the top 8 was like 6 from one team and 2 from the other team or something
Damn.
like that. Crazy.
Who won last year? Do you?
Yeah, last year was Kira Sultanovic.
Okay.
won.
Kira
And she was a
Sultanovic.
beast, man. She destroyed it.
I
It's
know
crazy.
Chris Cope won.
Chris
Yeah,
Cope
Chris
won.
Cope
Byron.
won. Dulcie won.
Dulce.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I don't know who anybody else.
See, with competitions, me personally,
I was about to say, does that change your mindset, your approach, or like what does it do to you?
Nah.
How does it change
I-
the green room?
I don't think about it at all. Cause
Yeah.
cause as far as I'm concerned, I'm not competing with nobody else. I'm
Right.
competing with myself.
I
You know what I
love
mean?
it.
It's like
I love it.
I'm just all I can be is as sharp as I can be.
Yeah.
I ain't worried about what the next motherfucker's
Right.
doing. You know, because it's
Right.
like I've always thought about it like this. Like if I could snap my fingers and murder every comic in the world,
Yeah.
I'd be the funniest comic in the world.
Right.
Because I'd be the only one left.
Right.
But I wouldn't be no funnier than I was before I snapped my fingers.
Right.
So what is the work you doing for? The work is so you can get better than you was. It's not so you can get better than the next man.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's like
exactly.
you trying to get as good as you possibly can be and then let the chips fall. You know?
Right.
So
But is there a tangible? So if you go up and you get, let's say you get 4 applause breaks, right? And you kill it, like it's just one of those sets. Like just from based off the audience.
Right.
yeah.
Does that trigger in your mind like, man, like do you not listen to the other comics at all? Like you don't even listen to what they get
I
from
might
the
I might
crowd?
listen, but just on some just because I like to watch comedy.
Right.
But I've done that. I've been in showcases before where I know nobody did better than me and I didn't get it.
Same.
So I don't go it,
Where it doesn't matter
and
that-
it fucked me up, right? So now I'm in that mentality where it's like I'm going kill,
Right.
Uh-huh.
right? Because when it's time to shine, I'm ready, you know.
Yeah.
But that ain't gonna matter. It's like I don't know what's going through that judge, what they taste is,
Right.
all that shit.
What
like,
they
remember-
need.
Yeah, remember what happened?
whatever politics that.
Remember what happened with Laughing Skull
Laughing Skull.
this year, where they put out the 70 pictures or whatever, and there was no black women.
Oh, I didn't even know about that. Was
Yeah.
that a controversy or something in
where
the
it was
comedy
for like
community?
a few days, they caught shit about it because it was like, whoever run their social media was responding real greasy to people because
Oh.
They're like,
Man.
they basically said like, hey, there weren't enough black women that applied, and I'm quoting them wrong, but basically weren't enough black women that applied, and
Yeah.
then the ones that they looked at just didn't make the cut. So it was
Yeah.
nothing against black women. It was just they're like, hey, the ones that
Apply the trash.
but that was clearly bullshit
Right,
because as I'm looking at this picture, I'm seeing 5 white women, and I know they ain't funny.
Right,
And then one girl in the comments replied, and she was like, "Well, I applied, right?" So I look her up. I don't know her at all, right?
Yeah.
I look her up. I'm like, "Yo, I know for a fact this girl is funnier than at least 3 of those girls,
Right.
minimum." Because I ain't know all the women, but
Right,
I'm like,
right.
she's funnier hands down than the rest of them. And that girl
Yeah.
was Kalana Spiller, who was on Heart of the City with him.
Oh wow.
So it was like, they end up rectifying and then like inviting, but they basically claimed that they did the process fair and balanced,
Uh-huh.
and it just ended up that it wasn't no black women. But that ain't true.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, that's what I'm saying. I just brought that up to bring up the fact that it's like the judges, because I believe them. I don't think they actively was trying to exclude black women.
Right.
I just think that when you only got one perspective,
Right.
or whatever, they claimed the panel was diverse, but they probably just meant they
Right.
had a token minority. I don't know,
Right.
but it's
Right.
like you never know the perspectives of the motherfuckers. And like I don't, because to me, it's like, I'm like, if I kill and I don't win, then that means y'all don't know what the fuck y'all doing. It don't mean I'm
Right.
not funny, so I don't even care. I don't care about what the judges think. You know
Does
what I mean?
that feed into this? Do you guys feel like there's forced diversity in entertainment right now? Like,
Yeah, I think
yeah.
diversity's been done the wrong way because it's being done by the same motherfuckers that was being racist the past 50 years.
right.
They still in charge.
right.
So it's like
They'll
when-
pick certain
when
type
they-
of.
yeah, they like, oh, let's bring in the Chinese, but we want him to talk like, you know what I mean? You know how many of my Asian friends get told that?
They want you to play it up, and then you have a trope or a stereotype of a black woman
It's
and
true.
a black guy, or they take the softer black guy rather than just the righteous black comic who just happens to be funny.
Right.
It's so frustrating.
Because they want diversity that's still that's entertaining to the white gaze. So it's like perfect example. You notice how, because now the new thing is tragedy porn, right? Go to Comedy Central's stand-up YouTube page, right? And click on a black comic, click on or minority comic, click on Jack Knight or somebody like that. Well, no, not him because he's on another level, but click on goddamn, just somebody you haven't heard of that's black, and just let it play, right? And you gonna notice at the beginning of every video with the comic as a minority, they got to talk about with their parents being immigrants.
Right. You gotta play the game.
Right, they gotta.
You have to play the game.
They make you talk about your struggle. They'll let white comics go in there and talk about pencil shavings and coffee and shit. And you got to talk about how you was molested or abused or in a gang or and
I want your point of view.
Or you're not like other black people.
Every single video, when it's a minority, it starts out with, so my parents came from India. So so my parents immigrated from this. Or hey, so I'm from Compton. So hey, and it's like.
I saw a dude start his set of the showcase. I'm a black nerd. They said, yes. He just said, I'm a black nerd.
As soon as you do that, you open it up. And it sucks to play that fucking game. And then,
Oh, man.
But you got, it's like, how much are you willing, because you can't make no changes until you get in. So how much are you willing to sell out to get in so you can do what you want?
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
When I was in Laughing School, I had a moment where I had, in my opinion, looking back, I probably would say otherwise, but in my opinion, when that happened during that show, I had hands down the best set. Judged everything. People were coming up to me like, oh, yo, you killed. I didn't even get placed.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's when I knew. I was like, all right, I'm done. And Laughing School, hands down, one of the best festivals I've done. I was like, oh my gosh, this is what comedy's supposed to feel like.
Yeah.
But the competition portion of it was like so skewed where you're like, all right, fuck it. I just need to focus on being me.
Yeah.
Let everything else have fun. Because that fucked me up. Because I'm like, I am doing something right here. And then it's not translating to the judges. I'm like, all right, so they're looking for something else. And sometimes they may be looking to champion a woman or to champion somebody that needs to be championed in order for their voice to be heard. And it has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with your fun. You're just the guy who needs to lose so she could be the champion.
Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes they need villains.
None of that shit is about you.
It's not.
That's really what the conclusion I'm coming to. And but it kind of makes it so it don't feel as good when you get it.
Right.
But it's still a notch on your belt, But it's like you.
Honestly, when you get it, you forget all this shit y'all talking about.
Somebody said to me a long time ago.
Oh my gosh, I worked so hard to get that.
This is my
God, I must be the greatest.
I beat this guy over here. I beat Keith.
I told you I'm better than you. I told you I'm better than you.
That's what I'm gonna do.
I knew it all along.
The no's gonna change.
If I win, I'm gonna just not talk to anybody else that's there with me.
I mean, sometimes you see it though. Sometimes it's like clear, like yo, I was the clear cut victor. But sometimes, like I remember, and we're putting everyone on blast, but Jack Knight had the showcase at the Comedy Store to get passed.
Yeah.
He showcased 3 times, or with 3 other people, had the best set hands down. Didn't get passed. They passed the other 2 people. And then that kind of showed the system where you're like, oh, like sometimes it doesn't matter about who killed that night. So it almost eliminated the idea of having needing a showcase in order to get passed. Just start passing people based on who you fuck with rather than like
which is what they do now.
And I don't know if Jack that was the last showcase that I saw, but that was also the last showcase that I was like, okay, clearly Jack should have gotten it, and I knew he was going to eventually get
How do they do the showcase? Does the crowd know it's a showcase, or do they just throw them into a lineup? And all the comics
Joe Rogan, and then
they used to do that.
Yeah.
They used to do, but how I got passed? Well, I got fired,
right?
And then Adam told me you're gonna be on the next showcase, right? And then they had an employee showcase, and Ron got passed, and I forget who else got passed. And then it was coming around, like they hadn't had one that whole year since he told me that, and it was coming around to like the next week they were putting their names on the wall. and it was no showcase for non-employees, right? And I was like, what the fuck? Are they fucking with me? I was so mad, bro. I was so mad because you know, and I remember like I was complaining to like my close friends or whatever, and I remember Derek was like, nigga, who you think you are? You know what I mean? Like, you don't deserve nothing. Because I used to tell him that all the time. You don't deserve shit. Like, stop acting like, because that's the only reason you mad is because you think you deserve. But I'm like, nigga, they told me I was going to be, that's what. And then, because that same week is always Just for Laughs, too.
Yeah.
And then Adam called me, like, that Friday, he called me from Just for Laughs and was like, I'm just going to pass you.
Oh, wow.
So I was just mad about it. That's what I'm saying. If I had just not been tripping,
Right.
you know, it wouldn't have mattered to me.
Better moment. Yeah.
But no, it was a good moment because I was in a bad place at that time. But it was like it was a win. But it was like they just passed me, and I don't know. It just made me realize like so much of what happens for you on your behalf is happening when you're not around behind closed doors.
Oh yeah.
That's why you gotta try your best not to be an asshole to people.
Be nice, be funny, work hard.
Yeah.
That's it, man.
That's it.
All right. Well, look, man. In a perfect world, what do you guys think will happen from it? I mean, do you guys approach it like what do you hope to gain from this? Maybe representation from Big Sky.
Okay, yeah.
When you leave, and what's your your immediate goals after or at the festival or like sometime after?
For me, what I realized with Heart of the City is that wasn't a life-changing opportunity. That wasn't a life-changing moment. What it was Comedy Central handed me a key.
Right,
and they're like, now go open more doors. And I've been going to go open doors.
Right.
Some doors open, some doors don't. It opened Big Sky. Like I applied with the tape and it opened that door and I was like, all right, this is a door. So it just got me in the room. Now I got to go find another key. So I'm hoping Big Sky will just give me another key. Whether I win or lose or whatever, I'm going to go hard. I'm going to meet folks. And then just take that key and then be like, fuck it, I'm going to go open more doors. Yeah. And just see whatever door didn't open for whatever reason, see if this key opens it. And if it, and then from there, just keep,
For me, like
keys.
every single thing like that is just accumulating, like he said, just accumulating respect. First of all, the respect of your peers, because that's another thing. Even if you the one that murders it and you don't win, all the comics know what's up.
Right.
So it's like that part, and and just having that other thing to put on your resume. It's like that's all it is. Because there is no life change. There's no one moment or one thing that's gonna change everything. Because I mean, there are those things. Like if you could just snap your fingers and get an HBO special today, that might change shit. But for you to even get to that, you got to have all these little things.
Yeah, And then also with festivals, like at the end of the day, everyone there will eventually move to LA or New York or stay in their city. Yeah. If you happen to go to that city, you already have a connect where you're like, yo, I'm coming through, and they'll roll out the red carpet for you, whether, you need a place to crash, whether you just need shows, or the connect for you to do it yourself. Right. That happened with Laugh and School when, I didn't win. I was tight on that. I met so many people where I'm like, oh, okay, I met this person here, or this person here, and then now you just
pieces it all together.
It just pieces the bigger picture.
I love it, man.
Yeah, what's beautiful too about, I know the random voice in the corner.
Right, I looked around. I thought it was Sean at first. I was like,
was that me?
Is that a cop?
The beautiful part about Big Sky too is, so last year, obviously being industry, it was like an industry hybrid kind of position that I had. I got to meet so many people, and I added all these people on my social media. Every single person who performed at that festival got something from that festival, whether it be booked on a cruise or, put in front of Michael Cox or something. So even the industry that they get is so great that every comic got something from it, which is dope. And even though, it is a competition and people can be sour about what they got, top 8, whatever, I saw everybody get a bump in their career. It was really dope to see, man.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
That's fun, man.
I'll tell you something about, DC Comedy Festival. I was just visiting home and I finally got in. They were like, yeah, come do some shows. They were showcasing for JFLs, 4 people, and then oh boy, who runs JFL? I forget his name.
Jeff Singer.
Jeff Singer was there watching. They had 4 guys. I was the 5th guy. The 4th person bombed so bad that they walked Jeff Singer while I'm getting called on stage at the Big Hunt.
Yeah.
I have one of those sets where I'm like, I'm going the fuck off. He comes back in right after my set.
Oh my God.
I see him 2 weeks later at the West Side Comedy festival, and I'm thinking like, yo, let me go off again.
Yeah.
We're paired up with. We're on the same week.
Yeah.
You get it.
Yeah.
I was happy that
Yeah.
that possibility of being the underdog and just, hey, come do a show. Like, I was happy when you got it. I was like, all right, at least I know that shit like that happens, where you could just be the random, like, yo, you're the guy, come do this, and you see that, matriculate from just having a good set.
Man,
so. Yeah, I mean, weird shit happens all the time where you
absolutely.
you never know.
I never got a showcase for that thing. He didn't know who I was. I've sent random emails because I think that was the thing that frustrated me over the years was not getting a showcase. Like, I'm like, that's all, just an opportunity. Tell me no, I'm fine with that. But I was like, dang man, not even able to get in the door. But then when he saw me, it was cool, man.
It was perfect.
And got
it was
to
a beautiful. It lined up so beautifully.
I was like, wow, man, it was a great opportunity. But I could talk. I'm glad y'all brought up my stuff, man. But it's about y'all. It's about y'all.
No. But that's a festival where I was like, all right, there's a lot of politics in this.
Yeah.
I knew out of our group, me and you were the funny, like no disrespect to anyone, we were one of the funniest guys there in that group. So I was like, all right, if I don't get it, if Sean gets advanced, I'm fine because I know it's not rigged. I'm okay with them playing a little bit of politics, but as long as you put the funny person too and let them battle it out, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
And when you got it, I was like, all right, cool. It's not so rigged where it's ridiculous, where you're like, this shit don't make no sense.
Right.
So when you advance, I was like, all right, cool. So as long as shit's played fair, or there's a fairness element to it, I'm fine with that shit.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. And when I think that's a good transition because I think you both chimed in on this online, and it seemed like a system rigging. I don't know if it was not an event, like an attempt. The Rotten Tomatoes.
Yes, absolutely. The Chappelle.
Where they rated. They tried to give Chappelle's Sticks and Stones, which released like a couple weeks ago, a 0 rating.
First of all,
I
would just like to say, now I know it got shared by Michael Che and all these other people. I was the first one.
I saw that. I got it from you.
Yeah. So
when the actual people started voting and it became 99% on the audience, that's what you shared, right?
No,
you shared the initial one too.
No, I shared. So it was an article that was where it was 0 and there were no user ratings.
Yeah. You shared that.
And then I immediately went and looked at it. This was like 4 a.m, and I shared the initial one where it was when I think it was like 29% from the critics,
right,
and 99% from the audience. And my roommate walked in and was like, "Yo," so right away he walked in and said something to me, and I looked up the Nanette one.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Yo, you should put that out." I was like, "Nah, man, it's, whatever." And then I woke up the next morning, and it was like Michael Che had put them side by side. Right? And I was like, "God damn it!" But you called me a Chappelle stan.
Oh yeah, I called both of y'all. The framing of that question was, why do you guys ride Chappelle's dick so hard? JK, where do you guys put his stand-up comedy career in the all-time list? That was the question I was going to put.
Well, first of all, that post wasn't about. And I actually,
it wasn't about Dave Chappelle. It was about what we were talking about previous.
No.
Who gets to decide?
It wasn't that post wasn't to defend Dave Chappelle. It was to because I still haven't seen Sticks and Stones.
Oh my God!
Right. So I mean, look, I've watched him work the material over this last. I've seen
the material that he was working out was way more worse than Sticks and Stones. Sticks and Stones is a very watered down version of what the fuck was going to happen.
No bullshit. He probably put out the director's cut and fucked up. But my point is, I was not defending Dave Chappelle because he don't need defending.
No,
I was defending my right to like or not like it, especially with black folks. Well, people of color in general, but black folks especially. There's like this monolith, right? Where it's like, as a black person, you're supposed to feel this way about something. You're supposed to think this way about something. Right. And I fucking hate that shit. So even though, the backlash against Dave Chappelle wasn't directed at black folks specifically, but it gets under my skin when people go, if you don't feel this way about this thing, then you're not X. You're not woke, you're not black, or you're not for the cause, or whatever the fuck. And it's like, I'm going to like it or not like it.
Right.
Did you watch Nanette?
I did watch Nanette.
What'd
eventually.
What'd you think of it?
What is Nanette? I'm sorry, guys.
Nanette is Hannah Gadsby, who's this Australian comic. She put out this prolific special where it's 30 minutes of her doing her old material and her being like, comedy's so bad because it makes you disrespect yourself and your plight to in order to be funny, and I'm not going to do it this way. I'm going to talk about what really happened. I was sexually assaulted. I was hurt by these people. I did this, and here's my story. So it was 30 minutes of her doing her material and then 30 minutes of being like, fuck it, here's my story.
Okay.
And it was claimed as prolific. And
the second part wasn't funny. Were people laughing?
The whole thing, listen. look, here.
Just based on the audience or whatever.
Because I like Hannah Gadsby as a person.
Okay.
Right? Because
you met her?
No, I haven't met her,
Okay,
but
okay.
I've like watched, looked her up and all that.
Uh-huh.
But and the story was a good story. It's not one I haven't heard before. In fact, around the same time it was all that stuff, Sam J's album came out.
Right.
And it was like, okay, lesbian, went through a hard life. Like her shit was funny though.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, but,
Right.
so my point
And
is just
she didn't down. What is it called? Self-deprecate.
right.
Yeah.
Well,
She didn't do that.
Hannah Gadsby talked about comedy the way a new comic talks about comedy.
Uh-huh.
And again, it was one of those things where, like, if you don't like this, then you hate women or you hate lesbians. But here's the truth, bro. The truth is this, bro. Like I said, some shit is credit, some shit is gold.
Right.
You can't get the respect of your peers if they don't see you out here in the streets.
Absolutely.
You understand what I'm saying? It's
Absolutely.
like because there's plenty of people you can get good at some other thing and infiltrate comedy right at the top.
Right.
Blake Griffin's doing comedy.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Or how many
All you
people?
gotta do is make the NBA.
No, but I'm
Right,
just
right,
saying it's Instagram stars and all
right.
kind of shit that's headlining clubs, right? So it's like,
Right.
but that don't count. It's like
You're not a righteous comic.
because I argue with another comic about this, and the irony is that she's way funnier than Hannah Gadsby. When the shit first happened, and I was like, she was like, Dave Chappelle said shit that ain't funny, and y'all defend him, and I'm like, no, but that's the difference is that I know Dave Chappelle's a comic.
Right.
So it's like the biggest reason why Hannah Gadsby didn't get the respect from other comics is because they don't see her out here doing comedy.
Well, she's Australian, so she was doing comedy in Australia, which one.
Yeah, but she here now, my nigga.
Right. So here's my opinion on it. I thought she was on the brink of being funny, and she just needed to go through that out. What Nanette reminded me of is what Louis went through. Remember when there was like a video where he's talking about he's outside a Chinese restaurant and he's listening to Carlin, and Carlin had dumped all his material, so he's doing these hacky jokes, and he's like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna just tell my story." And he started talking about how he's a bad dad, and like he bombed for about 2 years, and then something happened where he started like picking up the gems along the way, and then that became Louis. Yeah. This is what reminded me of that. I was like, oh, she's finally telling her story. She's not funny yet, but she will be, and
she put
the next thing, right? The next thing will be funny if she keeps going. But I think women just needed a champion of like, look, this girl dunked, and like I feel like
exactly
sports in the sports metaphor, she dunked. She got there and it got in, and they're like, this is the greatest dunker of all time. I'm like, no, she learned how to dunk. She learned how to do comedy the right way, and now she has to do it. And she didn't. Like, people were just claiming this early victory, and it's not that. She was so close to it, and she will get it, but...
And I don't begrudge people that liked it. Because like he's saying, when you a minority or you a disenfranchised group, it's like, a lot of times, because we do it in our community, black folks, we're so starved for heroes that a lot of times we'll defend somebody that's not a good person,
and it's not there
or that's not that's not quite there yet, or whatever. And so it's like, I get that, but and I don't want to shit on Hannah Gadsby, but it's like, don't get mad at me because I didn't think it was funny. That's what it boils down to.
It wasn't. The second half was not funny.
I don't
like there's moments
like
where she cried, and I'm like, here comes the joke. There's no punchline. She could have break the tension perfectly.
I didn't think even when she was trying to be funny on purpose.
No, those were bad jokes.
I don't think they were just bad jokes.
Those were the jokes that she was like, I hate these jokes. And I was like,
those were the jokes that made her say she was quitting comedy.
And rightfully so. She should have quit. They weren't funny jokes. They weren't funny. They were just bad.
We're not even tipping. We run out of time because I want to get into this other part because I know. I didn't think y'all would go that hard on that, cause I'm already.
I'm saying about it.
Yo, y'all wilding out.
But you should watch
Especially
both. Watch
Keith.
Sticks and
Right,
Stones.
I gotta check out the net. I've seen Sticks and Stones, and I thought and I'm not a Dave Chappelle dig writer, but I think he's great. And when I say he's great, but he's not the GOAT or
This
not in
was-
my top 10, people get so mad.
He's not in your top 10.
No. To me, he's our Dick Gregory. Dick Gregory's great, but I know years from now, you don't laugh at Dick Gregory because you don't know what he was talking about. So I don't think it's timeless material. I think it has a lot to do with the time we live in. But Dick Gregory was so much funnier to me that he could do it in a time where he was a free black man when that was not cool.
Right.
When
He
he
was
was making
in
white
Playboy
people
Club.
laugh
He was in the Playboy
when
Club.
it was
just-
not easy to do
So
that.
you're saying you don't think
at all.
Dave Chappelle's material will last the test of time?
Not in the same way, like you'll have to put yourself, man. Oh, who is Khrushchev, or who is? Oh, okay, yeah, I get that's what's going on, or who is this senator? You'd have to kind of know, like 30 years from now, when kids, especially the way news is like bang, 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 bang,
Right.
bang, bang, bang. You know what I mean? Like you're
Right.
like for the next 30 years, you'd have to be, okay.
So
I
who-
bet that's funny. I bet he's funny. He is funny. He's great. But that's so crazy to me that I have to make it seem like I'm saying he's not even good. He's a lot of comedians that have been great.
Man.
The way I quantify it, to me, the GOAT is the one that's coming back in 2020 with a tour. Eddie Murphy, man, the greatest comedian of all time. Just because his tool belt is so vast.
would you
But
say-
here comes Keith. Because I was a
goes.
setup.
But how's
He
Eddie Murphy?
hates-
Eddie Murphy's material doesn't age well either.
No, it does. It does. As far
No.
as ice cream truck, like you can
When's
show
the last time you
kids-
see saw an ice cream truck?
No, he
dog?
would know what you're talking about. Your mama's on the way. The burger, house burger. If he
I
did,
don't-
even
Okay,
Bill Cosby,
okay.
like if you just did that
All
bit.
of these are
Bill
done.
Cosby, no, he did it. He was anybody who does the Bill Cosby impression is doing Eddie Murphy doing
Right.
it.
And look
But
where Bill Cosby
here's
is.
the thing, and I don't even want to put myself in it too much because me and him, I saw Keith, Brian, let me tell you what I saw Keith do. I saw him throw away birthday pussy. He was with a girl. This girl was going to have sex with him on his birthday.
Okay.
And he engaged in this argument so thoroughly that he took the girl got undrunk.
Bruh.
Her vagina dried up.
I've
and
got in
she
so
hated
many
him.
fights.
He's
with
pissed off
women.
beautiful women.
Bruh.
Pissed
Are
off
you-
important people like suits. It does. He hates Eddie Murphy for
Bruh.
some reason. He
The-
discounts him because he's an entertainer, and he thinks that like how people say Andre 3000 is not a great MC because he does other stuff because he's a great musician. You can't categorize him. He's trying to put Eddie Murphy in that bad. Like for some reason, there's something taken
Bruh,
away.
See, I don't care about nothing that much. Like, I'll give you 3 laps. we can go back and forth 3 times, and then I'm moving the fuck on.
Right. So
But where are you at with them? All right, where's your list at? Where's Chappelle at? Where's
I
Eddie Murphy
don't.
at?
I don't put Dave Chappelle in the GOAT, but he's
Wow.
definitely in my top. He's definitely in my top 5.
who's your
Five.
top 5 then?
Red Fox.
There we
gets
go.
Fair.
Slept on.
Yes.
Oh yeah, the inventor
That's
of
fair.
the comedy
That's fair.
record, the first person to put out a comedy album.
Yeah,
Period.
and this ain't really no necessary order because I think it's dumb to like
Right,
rank
right,
shit top
right.
10, top 5. But I mean, he's one of my favorites. But if you saying the greatest of all time, I mean, obviously Pryor,
Yeah.
Carlin, early Carlin,
Yeah.
Chappelle.
All right. And just some people. I'm not saying they should be in your 5, but just some moms. Maybe I don't know if you.
Yeah, but to say he's not a
Jerry
young.
You're-
Seinfeld.
you're-
Oh,
you're-
Mom's Mabley, Jerry Seinfeld. No.
I don't know. Yeah, Rodney
Jerry
Dangerfield. I don't know.
Seinfeld is not in my top 10.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Sandy Berman. All these other people. You know.
Sinbad.
yeah,
That's
Yeah,
my
no,
guy right
Sinbad
there.
slept on.
Sinbad slept on. Red
Yeah.
Fox.
man.
Chris Rock.
It's
Chris
mad.
Rock, there you go.
Patrice.
Patrice O'Neal.
Patrice,
Come on. Bernie Mac. I mean, I don't know.
Bernie Mac. And you saw Eddie slept on Bernie Mac.
Yeah, he just said he shouldn't be on Mount Rushmore.
Man.
You saw that, right,
That's-
Brian?
No.
That's
Eddie
disrespectful.
Murphy and Jerry Seinfeld were getting into it because Jerry Seinfeld put Bernie Mac on his Mount Rushmore of comedians, which is 4. I believe it's 4, right? 4, your top 4. And he was like,
Well, he's
what
not.
the
He's
hell?
not in my top 4 either.
Yeah, I don't think he just doesn't have the body of work for me, but I think he's hilarious. I think he's great.
No, he's one of the funniest people ever.
Yeah,
but he
never
didn't
is.
put
He's
out.
funnier than Eddie Murphy.
Where's the? Where's
He's
the,
a better stand-up than Eddie Murphy.
Oh, see, that's what that's
So
what I
here's
like.
here's what
Fuck
I'm
that.
saying. Here's my argument.
I don't know.
Here's my argument.
We'll
Eddie
see.
Murphy's not a stand-up. He's an entertainer the same way Childish Gambino's an entertainer. The same way Jim Carrey's an entertainer.
Listen.
He's not a
Bro,
stand-up.
I agree. I see where you're coming from.
Right.
Because Eddie Murphy, to me, Eddie Murphy's like Biggie, where it's like he quit the game after 2 albums.
He's like Lil Dicky. He's just a
Right.
funny person that does rap.
It would be like if Michael Jackson quit after he did Thriller and Bad. Like that's how great those two.
No, they're amazing. But again, it's been how many
30 years. 30
coming
years,
back.
bro. He's
So-
not gonna come back strong. It's gonna be bad.
Oh man.
It's going to be bad.
We'll see.
It is going to be bad.
I
It's
reserve
gonna be
judgment.
bad
If Eddie
specimen.
Murphy come back and he's still that nigga fool,
He ain't gonna be that
I'm
nigga
gonna tell you
though.
why. I'm gonna tell you why he will be, because he's got so many. He's never talked about Charlie Murphy publicly, his dead brother. He's never talked about. So if he digs
the
into that,
transvestite thing.
the transvestite
Do
thing.
you think he's
his
going to do
kids,
that though?
Yeah, I think he has the capability. When you were
He's
judging
never
him, he
done
was a
that.
child. He was a 23-year-old
23 years
boy
old.
when he retired. Or
Right.
something, his first time retiring. He was a 23-year-old
And stopped.
boy. Yeah,
Right.
but that was, and then he still created classic bits that like you could show him.
Because look, I think
kindergartner,
Eddie
nigga.
Murphy's still funny.
Yeah.
But the craft, the sharpness, you don't get
You
don't
don't
keep
get
that.
that.
You got to get that back.
And he
bro.
never had that. He was just
Oh, he never had.
no. He wasn't digging deep. He was just doing impressions.
Because my nigga, they say it's like riding a bike. You ever got back on a bike after 10 years?
You're not gonna.
You're gonna fall, nigga.
No. It's
It's gonna be bad.
process, but when he start, he gonna be popping wheelies.
No.
He gonna be doing stuff that y'all
No.
just can't do.
You right? I
can't-
mean, maybe.
Look.
man, like,
Chris
you
Rock
just won't-
stayed in the game.
huh?
Chris Rock stayed in the game. Tambourine was okay.
Yeah.
You're not going. LeBron
He
James
kinda-
in another
In a
sport.
way, he
LeBron
tapped
James
the
is
well.
But bro,
He
you know
tapped
what?
the
There's a
well.
difference between See, I think Eddie Murphy's biggest obstacle is going to be because it's
gonna be
sort
himself.
of similar to the Chris Rock thing. Is the challenge isn't staying around, right? Because Carlin stayed around. The challenge is keeping your finger
On the pulse.
the zeitgeist. You know what I mean? Where it's like
on the post.
because you've been a rich nigga for 30 years. It ain't like you quit comedy and you just was living a regular life where you can relate to people. You've been a rich nigga for 30 years.
Right.
So his challenge is going to be being able to speak to people in a way that it translates. Because this new generation, bro, it's a whole different language.
Let me check
Bruh,
this
it's
out.
so whack. He's gonna
Charlie
be whack.
Murphy, rest in peace, amazing entertainer.
Right.
Charlie Murphy made a career off of 3 stories that he got sitting
Chappelle.
next to Eddie Murphy. You know what I'm saying? Just being his brother and security
Right.
guard, he got a story. Imagine the stories
He's
that
not gonna
Eddie
tell
Murphy
those,
had.
though.
He told one, I mean, and it was just in passing. He mentioned on, I think, the Cars show with Comedians
Comedian
in Cars.
Cars.
He said how he was in dressing room and Sammy Davis didn't say anything else to him and then turned to
Worship
him
the
and
devil.
said, you know, the devil's more powerful than God. He said, what the fuck? That's so funny that Sammy Davis Jr. didn't say what, like just that idea that he's around
Yeah,
people.
but my nigga, but my point is,
He's
if
more
you,
Who the fuck
famous.
is Sammy
yeah,
Davis
say that joke to a
Jr.?
group of millennials, and they're
No,
gonna be like,
no. But
why
I'm
is
just
that
saying
funny?
that was just in passing. He mentioned it, and it was
Right.
hilarious to the people watching.
But
just
also-
in passing. So
but
imagine him
also-
writing bits about the people who wanted to meet him before that. Barack Obama
Right.
wasn't famous when he met Eddie Murphy yet, right? These people who, I mean, I don't know, but I'm saying he probably was excited to meet Eddie Murphy.
Right.
All these people who are insanely famous now, at some point, were like, oh my God, Eddie Murphy. Like Jay-Z,
Yeah.
Beyonce, oh my God, that's Eddie Murphy.
Eddie
I
Mur-
get to
Eddie
meet
Mur-
him.
Eddie Murphy's the GOAT entertainer.
Entertainer.
Why
He's
does
not
that?
a GOAT
Why does that
stand-up.
discount you from being a stand? Because he's more.
Because he don't do stand-up.
Bro, he quit stand up. He's an improv artist. Doing stand
No.
Here's what I am saying.
But he-
So in Comedians and Cars Getting Coffee, he was scared to talk about real material. He's like, you can't say that. That's not an ingredient for
Bro-
a good stand up.
bro, to me-
One and two, here's what I am saying.
Sorry.
He's a very talented entertainer, but there's more talented people in comedy that are better than Jamie Foxx is more talented than Eddie Murphy.
Okay.
There's better stand-ups than Eddie Murphy. Bill Burr's a better stand-up than Eddie Murphy. Then you could go down the list of people who are pound for pound better. Like, look. I could say Jamie Foxx is better or more entertaining or a better entertainer than Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy's a better entertainer or a better comedian actor than Dave Chappelle. But Chappelle's a better stand-up than Eddie Murphy. You know what I mean? I'm not going to try Eddie on his body of work, but Ben Stiller's better than Eddie Murphy, his body of work. Jim Carrey.
Whoa, better?
Jim-
He just
yes.
it's maybe more.
Jim Carrey's better than Eddie Murphy.
That's quantity of quality.
Jamie Foxx is better than Eddie Murphy.
But
Like, bro,
no,
we
my
talk
nigga,
about,
no, hold on. Ben Stiller's body of work.
Yes.
Like movies.
Yes.
my
Jamie
nigga.
Bro,
Foxx.
you not watching let's pull up some of his movies. People, when people talk about Eddie Murphy, they talk about fucking 4 movies.
I think you on lap 2
Yeah,
with him.
but that's 4 That's 4
There's 4
hits
decent
in a
movies.
row.
It's not better than Jim Carrey's body of work for sure.
That's
Stiller,
that's
let's
debatable.
dismiss him.
But Ben Stiller, fuck out of here.
Okay, yeah, fair
Jim
enough.
Carrey stand up though against.
No,
It's
no
the
way.
same. Both of them quit. Both of them quit.
No,
They
Jim
don't
Carrey
do.
didn't put out a special. You
Yeah,
might
he
find
didn't
a
need
2-minute
to.
clip here and there.
He has like a
Where it's
30-minute
goofy.
joint online.
Oh really?
Yeah, he didn't need to. He was that prolific already. But Eddie Murphy's body of work is all right.
Would
Y'all
you
talk
quit?
about 4 movies.
Would you quit if you had a hit
If
movie?
I was Eddie Murphy and I wasn't funny like
No,
this,
not
yeah.
if you were Eddie Murphy. If you was Keith Johnson.
If I knew stand-up wasn't in my heart, I'd quit, just like Eddie Murphy did. Y'all are gassing this nigga, and he's going to drop a
glad.
trash special.
No, I'm just-
People,
I'm
he's going to drop a
He's
trash special.
We're gonna put this on
Aranza,
YouTube. We're
he's gonna drop a trash
on this
special.
fine girl, bro. He pissed off this fine girl named Aranza, who's on IG at Aranza. Nice, she's very pretty.
And where is she now? Where is she now? Just like Eddie Murphy, they don't do stand-up, dog.
Damn.
Look, no one's watching.
Bro, I got
Okay, his best movies were Shrek.
I tracked this nigga.
No one,
Shrek, nigga.
no one's watching Mr.
Coming
Church.
to America, Beverly Hills
No
Cop,
one's
Trading
watching
Places.
no one's watching Tower Heist, which Ben Stiller led and held. It had to hold Eddie Murphy down.
Wow, this
No
nigga
one's
doing
watching
research.
Imagine That. No one's watching Meet Dave.
This is either really
Shrek's
good for you
Christmas.
or really bad.
No one's watching Norbit.
But
Norbit was funny.
But no, nigga, you pulled it up and you scrolled to the end of the list and started
Right.
naming all the
Look,
bad
look,
movies.
he has so many Shrek movies, dog. Get the fuck out of here with this trash. Go through Jim
What
Carrey's
about Mr.
body of work.
Church?
No one go through
I
Jim
love
Carrey's
Mr.
bodies
Church.
of work.
Okay.
Dreamgirls,
It's
come
fucking
on, man.
Truman Show. It's fucking
You just-
Eternal Sunshine.
But you just named Eddie's worst movies and named Jim Carrey's best movie.
No, these
And it was still comparable. Like, we just kind of go blow for blow with those.
even his worst movie, what, The Cable Guy? That's the
That's his
Cable
worst
Man?
movie?
That's a hilarious movie.
Hold on, nigga, hold on. I got Google too, nigga. Hold
Yeah.
on. Let me see
Let's
here.
square up. Let's go movie for movie.
All right, okay, okay. Well, look, I'm gonna put up Eddie.
Okay, I'm gonna
Damn,
pull
how
up.
did he turn? I was neutral. Now he turned me
Bro.
into a defender.
He's
Which-
good at
'cause
that.
you're-
Pound for
He's so
pound.
hard.
Let's
You know
go.
what? This nigga, him and Derek,
Derek Poster. Oh yeah, yeah.
they
yeah.
are so comfortable being wrong.
We're comfortable. No. We're comfortable with the truth. We're comfortable with the truth.
All right.
They
I'm
y'all
not-
go hard.
And we could go Jamie Foxx next.
I'm just glad it was recorded. That's
Nick,
all I want.
it's
This was
on
a
record.
trap.
I stand by this. I've been
Okay.
fighting this fight for
No,
years.
because I was on your side, and then you just dragged me into the deep
Right.
water. I can't be out there with
Because you never compared Eddie Murphy and Jim Carrey. But
because
Jim
that's
Carrey's
that's a
GOAT.
nonsense comparison.
It's not. We talking about comedian actors.
Okay, look, we started out talking about stand up, right?
Right.
But
And
now
his
you-
stand-up is gone because he doesn't do stand-up. He's not a
okay,
stand-up.
but now you're talking about comedic acting and who has the most hits, and
Right.
it's like Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey got bangers,
That's a debate, but it's not a hands down Jim
No,
Carrey.
I know. That's
Okay.
why I'm arguing it.
Okay, let's look at this.
Eddie
if
Murphy-
If we're
Eddie-
equating all of that, where
Okay,
Chappelle
let's look at
has
these
no
films.
movies.
First of
No,
all,
I
half
don't.
baked.
No, right. I don't.
Hey,
I don't.
First of
he's
all,
not a comedic actor.
Saturday Night Live.
Boom.
Right.
Saved
Who
it.
watches Saturday Night Live?
Back then though.
You still watching Saturday Night
No,
Live?
but back then that was before I was born.
I didn't even watch that back
Look,
then.
Eddie Murphy
love
was funny.
Saturday Night
Okay,
Live.
okay, Coming to America.
Co-
Name a Jim Carrey movie that's
The
funny.
Mask.
Oh no.
The Mask is better than Coming to America.
No, go ahead. Eddie Murphy got that. Eddie Murphy got that. Go ahead.
All right, Beverly Hills Cop.
Dumb and Dumber. That's arguable.
Okay, all right, no, okay. Trading Places.
Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. Ooh.
That's
Ooh.
not. Nah, that ain't better than
Ooh.
Trading Places,
Ooh.
bro. That's not.
I don't
better.
even remember
All
Trading
right.
Places. Trading Places was all right.
Golden Child.
Liar, liar. That's a wash.
Norbit. No. Hold on. No. Okay. Going down the list.
Dreamgirls. We got.
Shrek.
Dreamgirls is not better than
Professor
Truman
One.
Show.
Oh, whoa. First of all, most slept on comedy probably
Bowfinger?
Life.
Oh, I was gonna say Bowfinger.
Oh, wait a minute.
Okay.
Life is
You got
one of the.
nothing for Life.
Jim Carrey don't have a life, bro. He don't have anything to compare to that.
Nah.
Wait. So let's go back to SNL. Jim Carrey was on In Living Color, dog,
True.
as James Carrey, the only white guy, and crushed everything he did.
Fire Marshal Bill, name another character.
Man, the Swan, the Black Swan.
Oh, the ugly girl character that he did.
He
Okay.
did. He had so many people. Man on the Moon, dog. Come on, bro. The Man on the Moon documentary where he went method.
All right, man.
A Boomerang.
That was a good movie. The Truman Show, Bruce Almighty.
Bruce Almighty is good. Truman Show was good. 48 Hours.
23, the number 23.
You didn't watch that.
Bro, he down to the trickle. He down to a trickle.
Fun with Dick and Jane. That was a good ass movie, dog.
Oh, shut up.
Nutty Professor.
Batman Returns. He was the fucking.
Batman
he's
Returns
the
was the
Riddler.
worst.
He's a villain.
That was the worst Batman.
That was
Come
bad.
on.
But he wasn't Batman.
And that's not even
that's Batman's
that's
fault.
not even a Jim Carrey movie though.
He still held it down.
Okay, now we getting into a lot of fucking shitty movies.
He was in Kick Ass.
Beverly Hills Cop 2, another 48 Hours. So we didn't even get to the sequels.
Bruh.
Beverly Hills Cop 3
Eddie
was
Murphy's
bad.
a fucking he's a money hungry person.
And I'm still excited because he got Dolomite coming out. He's got another.
Yo, and I hear he murdered that.
I heard he murdered. Yeah.
I don't listen to reviews. If you listen to reviews, then Chappelle's shit is trash.
No, but I listened to
Eternal Sunshine. We ain't even get into that.
Eternal,
we ain't even get into
Eternal Sunshine. Is that a Jim Carrey movie?
Yeah, of a spotless mind.
I thought wasn't that Tom Cruise?
No,
But that's not a
am I
comedic
retarded?
acting
but
movie.
Jim Carrey was so good you thought he was Tom Cruise. dog.
No, what am I thinking about? What am I thinking?
It's like-
I'm thinking about something Sky.
Vanilla Sky.
Okay, right, okay, yeah.
Bro, there's so many.
Bro, and then we
Series of unfortunate events.
But then listen.
I gotta bring this back to y'all, man.
Okay.
My bad.
Okay,
'cause
hey, look,
Bro,
I just wanted him on record.
no,
doing that.
we gonna be talking about this shit for
'Cause
6
I
months.
think this is gonna get shared a lot. Anybody, because it's just the perfect time, and I'm glad you did this.
Yes.
Yes.
I stand by this. I'll throw hands over Eddie Murphy being trash.
Yeah.
I'll put my career on the line.
He went on Comedy Hype's page and said, like when they announced
Eddie Murphy can't follow me.
He can't follow him. He would go in
I
front of
stand
Eddie
by
Murphy
this.
and smoke
And
him.
Eddie Murphy
And
don't
I
want
said,
it.
hey, bro, you realize you wrote this on the comments where they could see it. Everybody
On
was
the
like,
Comedy
I'll
Hype.
give it. All right.
Bro, I admire the confidence,
Eddie Murphy,
but it's
all right.
a lot of variables for you to be saying that. Shit.
And there's a lot of variables for Eddie Murphy. He's not going to come back. It's going to be like Ellen's special. We're going to be happy that he's back.
Hey, bro,
We're going to
but-
give
but
him
listen,
his nod.
bro,
Go ahead
it-
and get out of here.
bro,
No one's going to watch it twice.
It could go either way, dog.
It's not going to be prolific. It's not going to be prolific.
Before I say y'all Instagram and stuff handles, I gotta just list. You went at SNL.
Yes.
You went at
SNL's trash.
Lauren Michaels, get at me.
SNL's been trash for a long time.
The views of these two do not represent Comedy Pop-Up or
And here's the thing. I
Enterprise.
fuck with Che, Sam J, and Chris Red. They're funny
Well, that's why it's
people.
crazy because I know so many funny people that's
Right.
writers on that show.
It's the format. It's the traditionalist
No, because-
format.
because-
You can't be funny in a box that's outdated.
No, because look, let's put it like this. Again, it's the same person that the comedy gets filtered through. Just all this time.
Right. But who had the funniest episode on SNL?
Ever?
Chappelle.
Nah.
Bro, that shit was hilarious.
Michael
dog.
Jordan.
I mean, that's a lot of episodes to pick
Michael
one of
Jordan
them.
had the
Right,
most
right.
classic episode.
Will
of
Ferrell
SNL.
held it down, but Chappelle in the recent era
I
had
don't know.
one of the best.
And
SNL
Eddie
episodes.
Murphy's got one coming out December.
Because
so
I
it's
gave up
still-
on it. I only watch it when I'm hearing about something that I
Right.
should watch.
You watch.
Right,
I watch
right.
the clips, but I don't watch it no more. I mean, come on.
Yeah, man. I mean,
So I stand by my SNL statement. I stand by my Eddie Murphy statement for sure.
Aranza.
They need to let
Aranza, get at me.
Anybody that wants to get at him is
Look,
at Keith
at
Johnson
HQ.
HQ on
Get
Instagram.
at me.
Please attack him
Attack me.
vehemently.
I don't
think
give
you
a
really
fuck,
know what
dog.
it's like to
I
have
got
internet
goons,
trolls.
bro.
It's bad.
Bro, me and you gonna be breathing in all the smoke from just being near him,
Oh
dog.
no, y'all gonna be breathing in my gun smoke.
Man.
I'm gonna be taking off on these niggas.
And
man.
at BS Comedian,
At
right?
BS Comedian,
on
yeah.
Instagram, you guys on Twitter, all that, man. Please stay in touch with
Don't
me.
at me, nigga, because I'll hurt your feelings.
Hey, Eddie Murphy, just stop while you're ahead. Get back that money. Give it to Monique. Let her run a special. Give it to Monique, dog.
Oh, shit.
Eddie
Listen,
Murphy, that
man,
shit. Ain't nobody
we
gonna
are-
watch it more than once.
You going too hard.
Go ahead,
We're-
do your little Shrek impression.
Look, man, follow us at Comedy Pop-Up on Twitter and Instagram. And our website is comedypopupla.com. I'm at Mr. Sean Grant on Instagram. Anything coming up, Paulie, next week? This is going to release next week, Tuesday, oh, my God. Y'all know when it
17th.
released. The
Yeah.
17th. Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing I know is that we got a show together
Oh, that's
Hey,
right.
at the end of the
In
month.
Is it in Covina?
In Covina 26, Lincoln House, at the Paul Antonio for tickets or follow Sean, man.
Yo, I'm gonna be in Portland from the 2nd to the 7th, and I'm gonna be in Big Sky from the 8th to the 11th. So yeah,
October 8th to the
yeah,
11th.
peeking my damn October.
Yeah.
So peeping my Instagram for the more details. And shit.
Portland's gonna be fun. You're gonna have a lot of fun there. I got Second Chance Comedy the following Wednesday. Both of y'all did the show.
Yeah, it's a great show.
Super fun show out in San Diego.
Oh,
And
yeah,
then
yeah.
Big Sky. So those are the big joints.
Yeah, well, stay in touch
So-
with these guys, man. We appreciate you listening, and yeah, man. Hopefully, we get more shows after this. It might be all over. Thank y'all for watching and listening, man. Peace.
Yeah, respect though.